Hey, what's up, family? This is your host, Derek Stewart, along with my kinfolk, Isaiah, and our kinfolk, Najee. He's going to be joining us later on this week, so stay tuned. He'll be back with us. We're going to be talking about some NBA basketball. So I wanted to, welcome you as the viewer to come into our show. It is a Monday, December 15th, 2025. We're 2 weeks away from January 1st, 2026. We hope everybody is doing well on this weekend. I know it's hard to get a start on Monday. It's like a jump start from a car engine when you got a dead battery, especially for me. I'm speaking mainly for me. Today I was in slow motion with everything, but we're here with you today. We're going to be bringing you some bad topics, and I mean bad in a good way, not a bad way, right, Isaiah? And, we rocking and rolling. But see, here's the deal, folks. We just having a good time doing this. And we're doing this from our heart. And we're doing this because we want to bring what we talk about to you as a viewer. And we hope you guys enjoy what we're bringing to you. And if you do enjoy what we're bringing to you, hey, you know what? Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Because we're on all of the social media platforms, and we'll be glad to get back with you. If not an instant response, we'll definitely be responding back to you if you have a comment or if you want us to talk about a topic. Just feel free to do so. You're family, we're all in this together, so don't forget about that. I want to send a special shout out to Eddie. Eddie joined us this past weekend, and Eddie's our guy. I mean, we love him to death. University of Miami, hardcore fan. We're hardcore fans for University of Miami. So we will be having a show on Saturday with Eddie along with us after the game. We're going to do a wrap after the Miami-Texas A&M game, and we're going to talk a lot about that game, the takeaways, and all that good stuff. But in the meantime, do you see that hat, what Isaiah's wearing, and that shirt? He's just giving me body shots, and I'm getting body blows, and then I'm getting he coming up the pipe on me with what he's wearing today. He's pulling a Mike Tyson on you. He hit me with a body blow. I got weak and come down, and then he bucked that uppercut.
You out of gas.
Out of there.
Boom. Oh.
Yes.
Underneath you. Come break the smell us off.
And before I introduce Isaiah and unpack, I want to go ahead and send a special shout out to Sharita and Marquise. I met this couple yesterday. They are a fantastic, wonderful couple. They were at the Detroit Lions, LA Rams game yesterday. I got a chance to chat with them. Such good people. And Marquise, he's probably going to be joining us at some point because he's a sports fanatic just like we are. So I just wanted to send that special shout out to you guys. Okay. So Isaiah, what really is going on a Monday?
Man, tragedy, man. Did you see what went down in the NFL yesterday, man?
I know.
Players got injured severely where they out for the season, man. From the Mahomes to Parsons, man, guys went down with ACL tears and things where they're going to be using part of their vacation in rehab, man. But wow, unbelievable, man. And then the Dallas Cowboys they really
How
ran.
about them Cowboys, Jerry Jones? How about them Cowboys, Jerry? We love you on this show, Jerry. We love every bit of what you're doing on this show with this team. They underachieve every year, and we love the fact that they underachieve. They never overachieve, they underachieve. And it's a team collective, Jerry, including you, along with the team, because you can't blame it all on Dak Prescott. Everybody wants to shift the blame to Dak Prescott, but Dak Prescott is not the only one on that team. It's a team effort. So just keep underachieving, and boy, we'll stay happy on this show.
Vacancy, you know what was mind-boggling to me, man, is the fact that CeeDee Lamb, man, had a great game yesterday. He stayed wide open. And remember, he was the juggling giant. He would always drop passes. But yesterday, he didn't drop anything.
He didn't drop any passes, right?
To catch everything. No, he caught everything that was thrown to him. And you usually would see him drop a pass that hit him in the hand, and then he going looking like, damn, whatever happened to my hands? Like, somebody cut his hands off when he run to the sideline.
Right.
But Jerry was looking sick, man, with them two antique sons on the side of him. And I was like,
with Steven being one of them, I think Steven is probably going to be the next in line to take the team over, I would think. Yeah.
All of a sudden, that second half, they pulled away from him. I was like, oh, those guys are going to lay an egg. And guess what? They did it at home.
And they always do. They always find a way to come up short every year. Hey, peeps, and welcome to the DC Stewart Show podcast. Derek speaking.
No eyes there.
And I'm not. How you doing?
You're currently tuned in to the DC Stewart Show podcast, where sports, culture, and real talk collide.
From football breakdown to the very latest in current events.
And exclusive interviews you do not want to miss.
So don't touch that dial. Stay tuned to the DC Stewart Show podcast, and be sure to crush that subscribe button and hit that like button. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers in the next 30 days. So please help us out. Thank you.
Teague Sons was up there, man. That little threesome up there with him and his two sons was looking horrible, man. They was high-fiving and chest bumping and everything through the first half because they was up. And CeeDee Lamb was catching the balls like he did in college, man. He looked fantastic. And the fact that, Dak was running out of the pocket, throwing balls down here, and the guys was wide open. And then Flores.
Well, Brian Flores has got that Minnesota defense dialed up, man. They're dialed up, and they play vicious too. The Minnesota Vikings.
Brian Flores got that DC and started doing it like this here.
Yeah, because he was covering when he called his plays, because they be trying to steal signals from the other side,
Yeah, loving it, man. Them Cowboy fans be quiet when they get beat.
They be so quiet when they get beat. I mean, you don't hear a whiffle out of them. Period. And that includes Jerry. I don't know who Jerry's going to blame this morning. Who do you think he's going to blame? Dak?
Man, you can't blame Dak. Dak been playing some halfway decent ball, man.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has.
And CeeDee Lamb, like I said before, man, he caught everything came his way, man. I don't know what he was playing lights out yesterday, and then they lost. Sometimes when they win, he would drop passes like right and left, and they would win. Yesterday, right. He was catching everything, and they lost. I was like, damn, they can't get a break. Oh, my God. Man, let me tell you something. I'm gonna love this in, why I got a chance, because my Fins playing Pittsburgh tonight, DC.
Yeah, the Fins play Pittsburgh, and I'm gonna be definitely watching that one real close. We just wanted to let everybody know we had a few technical difficulties, so we're back on now. We're gonna be continuing on with the rest of the show, so we should be good to go. I want to say this as well, that we're going to go over some topics. We're going to go over the injuries that we talked about in the NFL with Patrick Mahomes, Micah Parsons, and we're going to go over some college football, the Heisman weekend. We talked a little bit about it on Saturday, but we're going to kind of continue on with some of that Heisman talk. We're going to continue on talking about, transactions in the NFL and in the college football rankings, because it's going to be a lot of movement, and the bowl season is just getting ready to start. I think bowl seasons, I want to say, start on Wednesday, right? I think something like that. It started already with the smaller bowls.
Yeah, the starting to play this week. But let me tell you something, DC. Don't forget to leave out that portal, man, because guys are jumping ship now.
Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. I want to talk about that portal, because that portal is just it's a hot topic right now, and we just got to kind of find out and pick the brain of some of these athletes that, hey, you know what? They're doing what's best for them, and I don't blame them. I mean, you got to look at your options. You got to explore everything,
Listen, DC, if you're a player and you're not doing what's best for you, shame on you. These coaches are doing what's best for them. The schools are doing what's best for them. Why not the student athlete do what's best for them? You see what happened a couple of weeks ago when Lane Kiffin jumped ship because he was doing what's best for him.
That's right. in his best interest, of course, right?
He claimed it wasn't all about money and all of that, but he got a ton of it, and he's got a decent long-term contract. So if you tell me that ain't about him, shoot, man. Listen, that guy did everything what was best from him. He's been hopping for years now, jumping from one team to the next. Yeah.
Exactly. And, the bottom line is it's just going to keep evolving. It's going to evolve and evolve and evolve. And I think what's going to happen ultimately is it's just going to be a massive bidding war. I think it's going to be a bidding war with these bigger schools, and these bigger schools are going to always be the ones to come out on top,
Well, that's where it always been. You play around with the big boy, that you just got to play around with the big boy. Them little small potatoes, man, it don't work. It's just like in life, period. If you mess around and hang out with the fleas, you get them all over you. Hang out with them dogs, you gonna get fleas all over you.
You gonna catch fleas, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and that's the ultimate thing. So let's get this party started, and let's talk a little bit about Heisman weekend, because that's kind of on the burner right now. Fernando Mendoza, he's from Miami. He grew up in Miami. He's a 305 kid. Overachiever as far as I'm concerned in terms of his athletic ability. A lot of people didn't believe that he could play, and he didn't even get recruited by a local school called University of Miami. But guess what? He ended up getting recruited by Cal. He ended up at Cal. I thought he did fairly well when he was at Cal, and then he decided, look, I'm going to get into the portal and I'm going to go somewhere better. And that was one of the best decisions Fernando Mendoza could have ever made. And he made that decision based on what was best for him, what we just talked about, and I'm so happy for him because he worked to get this Heisman. He earned this Heisman. And we'll talk a little bit about Diego Pavia, which is quarterback for Vanderbilt. He's a good quarterback. I'm going to say decent to good quarterback. I'm not going to put too much stock on him because I think that, some of the comments that he made right after the Heisman, ceremony, I don't think they were appropriate. And he did apologize. But what's an apology when you already done put something on social media? Why wouldn't you think first before you put that nonsense on social media and then run behind and say, I'm sorry? Because you know what, Diego? That could impact whether a team draft you. So you have to watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. Just be humble. To me, you didn't earn that Heisman like Fernando Mendoza did. Fernando Mendoza is on an undefeated team. His stats speak for his work. So
no sore losers like that, man.
And to be a sore loser like that, and we talked a little bit about Ashton Genty last year, where people were getting in Ashton Genty's head saying, "Oh, well, you should have gotten that Heisman over Travis Hunter," right?
Nah, man. You talking about a guy who played both ways on high levels, man, and he won it over you, and you gonna start running your mouth. I was mad with Ashton Genty for doing that, and he was my guy, man.
And he was our guy, and with Diego Pavia, the comment that he made was a little bit, to me, a borderline egregious. I mean, because if you look at how he commented on the whole thing, F the voters. He's dropped the F-bomb, and this was on Instagram, according to this. And he technically said F the voters with a thumbs down emoji, but family for life. So I guess there was a image of him and his teammates, family for life. Diego Pavia was lucky to even get invited to the Heisman ceremony. I mean, he's had a good year. Vanderbilt had a good year. But guess what, bro? You ain't all that. I'm just telling you. You ain't all that. And I'm letting you know right now, you need to continue to play and tone it down. Don't continue to run your mouth talking about what you got shortchanged on, okay? So I'm just putting that out there for him.
I didn't mind. Where are they going to? What bowl game are they going to?
This is for Vanderbilt, right?
Right, yeah. Now we're going to see how his last game panned out with him running his mouth like that. Them guys going to be out there putting him on his back. Watch.
So Vanderbilt is going to be playing in the ReliaQuest Bowl. The ReliaQuest Bowl is on New Year's Eve, December 31st, in Tampa against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Now, let me just say one thing. Kirk Ferentz has been with Iowa forever. He's the head coach for Iowa. Iowa's defense has always been in the top echelons of college football. I think I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction right now. Vanderbilt is not going to get by Iowa. I'm just going to say that. Do you agree with me, or do you think it could be up in the air? Because one thing for sure about Pavia, he can run. He's a very dynamic quarterback. He's very he knows when he needs to run, he runs, and when he doesn't need to run, he passes. So he's been very good with the balance on that. And I'm going to go over a little bit of his stats because, you know, if you look at his stats, I mean, he had a pretty good year, I would say. But to drop something like that on social media right after the Heisman Trophy ceremony, in which you were lucky to even get invited, to me just wasn't appropriate.
Yeah. I'm not going to demonize his football career. I mean,
I'm not either. I'm not taking away anything from his performance.
And also, I'm surely going to have a magnifying glass on his play in this last game, because when you got guys that run their mouth like that, man, I'm ready to watch you, because you talking out of line, man, and then your field play got to be up to par. You know, he was invited over there. It has nothing to do, because it kind of shamed the winner. You know, it almost put down the winner.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting ready to get to, you know?
Man. And that guy had absolutely nothing to do with that. I mean, even though you targeted judges, but man, if you thinking about somebody gave somebody something of a Hispanic descent over you did as wrong, because that don't usually happen. The guy must have did a better job than you. So
absolutely,
watch your mouth when you talking like that, man.
Exactly. And you know, Diego Pavia is Hispanic as well. He's a Hispanic origin. He went to New Mexico State. He played there, and then he got into the transfer portal, and he ended up at Vanderbilt. So here's his numbers for 2025. He threw for 3,192 yards. Vanderbilt's offense was built, you know, very dynamic in a way where he ran a lot. So I'm going to just say that for passing, 27 TDs, 8 interceptions. He has an 87, or should I say an 88 QBR, which is impressive. I think he ran for 600 plus yards on the ground this year for a quarterback, so that's very impressive as well. I don't see him as a first round draft pick. Do you see him as a first or second round draft pick? I'm talking about Diego Pavia.
No, he's gonna wind up probably finishing in third or fourth. We're gonna see, and listen, this is gonna be a telltale sign in this bowl game. If he go out there and shine, maybe he might. So we'll see that, because your mouth can get you in a whole lot of trouble, man. You can sure the hell slide in the draft when you start talking crap like that. Because the last thing these people in office who gonna pull you over to their organization is gonna watch how you conduct yourself. And if you already talking crap now, they think you'll be doing that in the damn locker room, and which he probably is if he's bold enough to be out there talking crap and showing stuff on social media and trying to downplay somebody else's progress. So we'll see.
He ended up apologizing. He took it down as soon as possible, because I think he realized he shouldn't have never put it up there, of course.
And said it was inappropriate. It was going to slide you in the damn draft, and he wouldn't. Storming over there and tried to apologize. Apologize, not accepting, you little punk. Nobody ain't accepting your apology, man.
Well, everybody always apologize after they done the damage, right?
It's already out there. How many people gonna see that apology and take it for what he wanted to weigh in on? No, nobody's gonna do it. Certain people might not even hear his apology.
I think he got a lot of press, which Vanderbilt didn't get a lot of press over I've never known Vanderbilt to even be on the map with football. They've always had a team, but he's got a lot of press and media press this year, and they beat some good teams this year. So I think it might have went to his head a little bit on that. So getting back to Fernando Mendoza. Fernando Mendoza, congratulations. Once again, we said that on Saturday night, but we want to congratulate you and the Indiana football team for the season that you guys have had. We're going to see how far that you guys are going to go in this playoff, and we'll see how it ends up.
Both of our basketball schools, Vandy and Indiana basketball schools.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
especially with Indiana. Indiana has always had a history with the Bobby Knight years back in the 80s and the 90s and going to the Final Fours and, you know, all of those type of details and stuff. So we just wish you well. And, you know, we'll see what happens because his brother plays backup quarterback for Indiana. Did you know that?
Oh, wow.
Fernando Mendoza's brother? He plays backup quarterback.
That's nice.
Because he did get hurt in that Ohio State game. He got clocked, and his brother came in for a play.
Is he a freshman?
I want to say he is. His name is Alberto Mendoza.
Well, that was probably his decision making. DC, if Indiana was going to select his brother, and then he probably gave it some thought. I mean, shoot, let me go over there and hit this transfer portal and go over there and play with my brother. That's probably what happened with him, man.
He's a redshirt freshman too. But I just looked it up. He's a redshirt freshman.
Well, that could have very well happened. Now he got an opportunity to play behind a Heisman Trophy winner. Shoot, Indiana might have something going on, man, for 3 or 4 years.
I would think so, especially with Kirk Cignetti being the head coach, man. Anything is possible. Whenever Kirk Cignetti is coaching a team, anything is possible. Look what happened at James Madison when he got there. Turned it completely around. Indiana is undefeated, which is, to me, is nearly unheard of. Turned it completely around. And he has the athletes to do it with, and it's only going to get better for Kirk Cignetti because all of the athletes are going to want to go to school there, right? Especially if their NIL is up there competitively, and I think it will be.
NIL is paying. They will start getting some prominent players that's going to start going in and out of that place.
Exactly.
It's all about that money now, man.
All about that money. Yeah. Whoever has got the most money.
If you paying, I'm staying.
That's a really good one right there. That's an excellent one. So let's move on to the next topic, and we're going to spend a little bit of time in this topic. This is the transfer portal. We just mentioned it. We just want to talk a little bit about how, you know, the movement in the transfer portal is affecting college football. It's affecting college football. You can either say positively or negatively. I would say I'm kind of in the middle, neutral on it, because I think there do need to be some things tweaked with that transfer portal, and there needs to be some verbiage in writing to kind of slow down the onslaught of athletes coming 1 year, getting the money, and then going somewhere else, getting more money, and then going somewhere else and getting more money, which is, I don't have any problems with the athletes collecting the money. What I do have a problem with is when a team builds around a specific athlete and they come in there and that school might not offer that athlete a bigger raise. It's just like in the NFL. I mean, you go where the money is, just like you just said. So I'm going to get your take on this. What do you think about DJ Lagway is entering the portal? At least from what I read today, it says he's entering the transfer portal. And who knows where he may end up because he's going to go where the money is. DJ Lagway is an exceptional quarterback, in my opinion. He just didn't have a good year this year. What do you think about that?
I thought he would probably jump ship, DC. Remember, if you recall, the second or third game of their season, I was saying he's probably going to leave. I want him to come down here and give us a shot. Come on down to Miami. You know, Becky's leaving. Come on down. We'll get you put in the mix and see if you can snatch somebody's job and do like Cam Ward did. You know, came from elsewhere and Beck came from elsewhere and it came down here and had successful years. If you feel like you want to win something significant, come on down here. We're doing it, man. We're popping off. So come on. I'm inviting you here with the, you know, regards to the portal itself. DC, man, I don't have any problem with these kids moving around, man. Even as much schools as they want to, because they're young folks that's trying to find their way. They're trying to, you know, position themselves so they can have a successful life. And that's with anything, man. I mean, any job. If somebody hire you as an executive for Pepsi or for any airline, I mean, you get in there and somebody offer you a better retirement, a nice pay, weekly or monthly or yearly pay. Yeah,
That's right.
And sometimes it don't even depends on the city you in. You just want to get a bigger bag. The problem with these kids moving around, man, because in all actuality, it's not even about them, man. When you're an older person, such as let's say I'm gonna give Ray Lewis, because I heard him say this time and time and time again, where he was the father figure over his little siblings. And he was trying to make money for his family, man, and they didn't have NIL right now back then, but he was trying to make sure he go to a place where he had a strong potential chance of getting in the NFL where he could take care of his family. So yes, this thing nowadays, you could take care of your family immediately by going to college. You can go from a guy who just barely had enough money to get a suit to take his girlfriend to the prom to 6 months later, you a millionaire. No,
That's right.
So
That's
I
right.
absolutely do not have a problem with these kids jumping around. Pay them their money because these schools, these institutions are hundreds of years old. They stacked on billions and billions of dollars, and share that wealth with these kids, man, because they broke. They're living in some poverty-stricken areas. They're trying to come up. And with them moving around trying to get their fair share, I have absolutely no problem with it. You guys continue to work your rear end off, get in these positions where you can take care of yourself and your family. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
Okay, so let me rephrase how I came about when I said the transfer portal has questions. It has a lot of different detailed questions that I would like to know about, because if you think about it, one athlete jumping from one school every year, and Troy Aikman made a comment that he donated quite a bit of money to UCLA for this one particular athlete. He didn't name the young man, but he donated the money. He never met this athlete. And all of a sudden, this athlete bolts and goes to another school after he collected his money. Now, it gives you a free agency feel when you say so. I'm just trying to get to the core nucleus of the problem with the transfer portal, because we know, you and I, we know back in the 80s and the 90s, they wouldn't even thought about it. You had to wait a year out. You had to, if you transferred to another institution, you could not play that very next year. You had to wait a year, so you lost a year. But with this type of problem, you got roster instability, you got a free agency feel, you have a disruptive team culture, if you think about it. And I'm reading this right off of a list of things. It could be a possibility of a problem for a team. There's rumors spread this morning that Dylan Raiola is going to possibly leave Nebraska. He's a quarterback, and Dominique Raiola was his father, who played in the NFL, and he seems to be a really good quarterback. But look, he's thinking about leaving as well. So give me your take on some of the problems. I just want to identify which is the biggest problem you find to be with transfer portal issues. It's not the kids. It's not paying the kids. I don't have a problem with that. But how are you going to slow down this onslaught of movement?
Well, you can't, DC, because this is the culture now, and this is what entails. This is what's happening when they gather these legislations for those kids to be able to move around like that. You just got to make your adjustments, and you got to make some smart, shrewd business moves on it, man, because these kids gonna move, and you don't know. The best thing you can do as a coach is to establish the best bond you can with these kids so they can stay there. Otherwise, they're gonna be leaving you, man. And I have no problem with them leaving. The thing is, it's nothing different from what a coach would do.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. It's some similarities there, and I think it's more disruptive if a coach leaves than an athlete. Wouldn't you say so? I mean, if a coach, especially if it's a good coach.
If a prominent coach leaves, I'm going to give you a prime example. Does Penn State have anybody sitting in that seat right now?
For a coach, right?
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes. What are we talking about?
So Penn State did hire a coach. They did hire Iowa State's coach.
Right. And then they had to dig and claw and find somebody to replace that coach, right? Because they rushed to judgments and fired him. And then they tried their rear end to replace him right away, and they couldn't. But see, and that's the thing. And that's the thing that's devastating when you make a move like that. That was really hurtful for them for doing that. And then I know they realized, just think about when they fired the coach, he got another job before they replaced him. How about that? and when the kid jumped ship, he could be replaced like in a matter of seconds. Because let me show you something. When a player graduate or a player goes down, a player like Lagway look at it and say, "Oh, okay, Becker's leaving. I'm going to Miami." Because he's a senior. You know Becker's getting ready to get drafted. That position is pretty much filled right now. It's like when Cam Moore, when Papacina left. Man, Cam Moore came and felt that shoe right away. You know?
Yeah.
He felt the shoes of the quarterback position in the University of Miami like right away. And there was a hug and an embrace and a bond that he built with the head coaches and the offensive coordinator. And that's what you have to do, man. You have to really dig and find someone to replace these people, man. And it's actually easier for them to replace a player than a coach. Because then you got these contractual thing comes into play, DC, and then you got to make sure he's the right fit. Then he's going to bring in all his freaking people. You got to start eliminate other coaches because this guy ain't just coming by himself. He's going to bring his team in there, man. And that means you might have about 8 or 9 to 10 coaches you got to get rid of and then replace these guys. So it's harder for them to replace a coach than as a student athlete leaving and going, you know, and coming.
Right.
Right.
And you did mention Papacina. Papacina was Tyler Van Dyke, by the way. Young man by the name of Tyler Van Dyke, who played quarterback at University of Miami. I think he transferred to Wisconsin, and he went unheard of after he transferred to Wisconsin. We haven't heard from him since then, right?
Yeah. Papacina was the inside thing when you and I called him, but Van Dyke was his name. Yeah.
Okay, so here we have a commenter, Anthony Williams, 7316. He's been really engaged with us here. And he says USC got the #1 recruiting class in high school, which I saw that as well. And Lincoln Riley can recruit. So Lincoln Riley recruits extremely well. And that's what made him have those teams at Oklahoma. You know, he recruited Caleb Williams. He recruited Spencer Ratcliffe, who went to the pros as well. He recruited a lot of good players. But what he says here is USC got a kid playing already that still should be playing his senior year in high school. So I guess it's beginning to spill over into high school now. And that's another thing that we might need to bring about and talk about, because if the high school system is going to start changing it up, which is a potential, I'm not 100% sure, but it does make sense. And he's on the defense for USC. He wears #4. I'm gonna be looking out for him as well. He also said, they need to change the rules on playing, leaving for more money. If they sign a contract, they should honestly finish it. Do you agree with that, Isaiah?
Nope.
Okay, why wouldn't you agree with that? A contract is a contract. We were talking about Brian Kelly's contract, right? He had to honor the contract.
DC, what in the hell you think Lane Kiffin just did, man? They just matched what he was going to make it somewhere else, and then he still bolted off, man. The bag is out there. Go for the bag, damn it. You know, that's what they're doing now. You can't put a bridle on the kids but let the coaches do what the hell they want. Let the coaches honor their contracts, and then the kids will honor theirs. That's how you handle that. Otherwise,
that's a good comeback. I agree.
Come on, man.
So if a coach signs a 6-year contract, you're saying the coach should stay for 6 years.
You need to stay his butt there.
Even if more money is coming, was proposed to him, he needs to stay that 6 years and then he moves.
What that commenter just said, they can't leave for a bigger bag. Well, the coach is leaving for bigger bags. Now, that's the only way they're going to stay put. That's the only way. Yep.
Yeah. So, okay. So what about team disruption though for this? And what I mean by team disruption, you got a quarterback. I'm going to just go with the quarterback position and say you got a tip-top quarterback, and all of a sudden they say, look, I'm not coming back. And then you got to go back into the portal yourself and try to find a comparable quarterback. Does that make sense?
Same way with the coach, DC. Same way. You got, come on, man. Who in a million years would have thought that Lane Kiffin, who went to Ole Miss from FAU, who had a great season at FAU, Ole Miss job opens up, he come there, they throw the kitchen sink at him, he started to win, he became the hot topic, he started flirting with and whoring himself at the University of Florida. They thought they had him down to a science. And buddies of mine, I'm talking about prominent boosters, thought they had this guy nailed down, and he took off to LSU. And I'm telling you, because remember, I told you that a long time ago when it first started surfacing up that, wow, Lane Kiffin's finna go to Florida, man. Some of these people who told me this are the boosters that's had the inside. And he backed out, man. He moonwalked his way right out of there and went over to LSU. And this is what I'm saying, man. They gave him that $90 million contract and then put $25 million worth of incentives on the top of this thing, man. Who's not taking that, DC? Who? Who's not taking that? After he got his freaking advice from Nick Saban and others say, bro, this is a beautiful place to be, because Nick Saban, of course, coached there before, and they know is a nice party town.
For sure.
He gonna be,
for sure.
He gonna be over there with some beautiful.
The French Quarter. The world famous French Quarter, right?
Yes. Good eating, good women, beautiful music. What a combination.
Okay, so let's just go down the list of NIL, and I'm going to go down the top 5 real quick for NIL. It looks like Arch Manning is sitting up at the top at $5.3 million. His NIL value is worth. Jeremiah Smith is sitting number 2 at $4.2 million. Carson Beck is sitting at number 3 for $3.1 million. Bryce Underwood at Michigan, and he's considered elite. I don't even know if he's going to stay at Michigan since Moore is gone. Sharon Moore has been run out of there. He's at $3 million, and Fernando Mendoza is at $2.6 million. Those are the numbers. Those numbers speak for themselves, and these are 18, 19-year-old kids. Some of them maybe 20, but it's just amazing.
The crybaby at Vanderbilt.
He's ranked number 8. He's at number 8 at $2.5 million. So he's getting a pretty nice package at Vanderbilt. He really is.
That guy got some. Yeah, man. See, these guys are millionaires at TCU. How you playing? These kids are millionaires, man. And imagine, he was a senior. Was he a senior? Is he a senior, right?
Yeah, he is a senior quarterback for this football team. And he'll be in the NFL draft next year, and that's why I was saying earlier he needs to just chill out and play football. Don't be talking about votes and all that stuff. Just play football.
Yeah, but DC, if he's making $2 million, that we don't know how long that contract has been. He probably had that contract for a couple of years, so he probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $4 to $5 million total. So he's already a millionaire, and he's whining. And the people are talking about staying there, man. These guys need to jump ship where that money is.
And that's what they're doing, and that's why I wanted to bring it up, because DJ Lagway is going to go where the money is. That he's going where the money is. He's chasing that back
down here,
which makes sense. And who knows where he may end up? He could end up there with James Franklin at Virginia Tech, because Virginia Tech they got a good NIL package right now that they're offering these athletes, so they're going to be very competitive.
Give my boy Cristobal a shot first. Let him come on down here.
Well, Miami is really up there, very high on the list for NIL valuations when it comes to paying their athletes.
Game good. I need to go to game good. He ain't got no bowl game to go to, do he? Nope. We go in, go to Gainesville and get in.
You want to go up there and talk to him? Hey, let me rap to you, huh? You want to holler at him?
Come here, dog.
So, with that said, we're going to revisit this for transfer portal, and because it's really on a bidding system now, which school could come up with the most money, and that's really what it boils down to. Something still needs to be done by that. Anthony Williams, 7316, made a good valid point that, look, they need to, if that's the case, they need to lock down some of these contracts. If you want to do it 1 or 2 years, 2 years might be the max, do it. I mean, or think about it, at least consider it, so that athlete won't be jumping and going and moving, because you could have one athlete move around 3 or 4 times within 4 years. It's usually 3 years, of course, because a lot of them leave as juniors. But
yeah,
beyond that, we'll definitely follow up on that with this NIL and all of the rest of the stuff that's coming along with college football, because Wall Street is getting involved in college football with these programs, with University of Utah being one of the first programs, to entertain and receive from an investment firm money to come into the program. So let's move on to this next topic, and we want to talk about Alabama's coach, Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer was University of Washington's coach. He ended up changing that program. He turned it completely around, and he got University of Washington to the national championship, where they came up short against Michigan. He is currently Alabama's coach, not quarterback. He's currently Alabama's head coach, and he's done a great job at Alabama. I don't think he's done a bad job, do you?
No, he did an exceptional job to take over a program like that and get to the point where he's in the playoffs now. So, yeah, I didn't think he's supposed to be in the playoffs because they lost 3 games. But if he's there, he may overcome some situation and wind up in a national championship. Who knows?
That's right. And, you predicted it, that you didn't think he was going anywhere. He just put out that he is not currently interested in any openings in college football. And that's a pretty good thing to say for him, because all it does is solidify his dedication to the University of Alabama, which he signed. And like you say, Saban is kind of bringing him along, because Saban is still deeply involved in that program. Don't get it twisted. Don't think for a minute that Nick Saban's word is still not bond around there, right? I mean, his word still means a lot.
Yeah, man, of course it does. I mean, the Saban is the primary reason he's there. Yeah. And not only that, when he was in a hot seat for losing that game against Florida State, Saban is the one calmed them fans down and said, back off the guy and let him finish the season before we're talking about getting rid of him. And now look at this. It's somebody else is jockeying for him to coach their team.
Exactly. And I think University of Michigan is going to be in the running for a top coach like Kalen DeBoer. Unfortunately, they're not going to get Kalen DeBoer unless, something changes overnight. So I wanted to bring that one up because that's a big deal for him. And that's for his recruiting at Alabama as well. And another thing I wanted to mention as well about transfer portal and NIL, if you're looking at how high school players are being approached now by college recruiters, I mean, you think about it, it's a big dynamic pool that's going to happen with these athletes, where the bigger schools, the Power 5 schools, are going to continue to get richer, and the schools at the bottom are going to continue to stay where they are or get poor. Would you agree with that?
Of course I do, man. You could look at the way the bowl games are situated, DC. These big elite teams are going to these bigger cities where the clubs and the nightlife and all the things that's happening there. And of course, they're going to rake in the dollars for it, because you think about it, whenever the bowls is established, those cities get a week or so, or probably 2 weeks, to get ready to have these influx of people coming in there who's bringing loads of money to enjoy that week while they're there. So, man, this is a time where these cities capitalize off of this thing, man, and then it slows down because the new year kicks in and then the football wind down. So they're going to try to get as much as they can out of this thing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And Anthony Williams 7316 just made a solid valued point. He said, yo, my friend, just waiting until we go to 24 teams for a playoff system. We even talking about 16. We even talking about 24. And the other bowl games, see, what that's going to do is stamp out all the bowl games. All of these little, the pizza bowl and chicken bowl or whatever, any type of bowl game that doesn't have a big budget to be able to offer these teams are going to go south. And, if you think about it, it's just they got too many bowls anyway, I think. There's no more value. There's no more. It doesn't seem like bowls are fun no more. I mean, if you think about, they don't even sell them out other than the national championship and maybe two other bowls that's like at the Rose Bowl or the Sugar Bowl, the top four, right?
The Granddaddy Bowls, they always sell them out, like the Orange Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, and those are guaranteed to be sold out. That's without a doubt. But those brand new bowls, where Fruit Loop bowls and all.
What about the Duke's Mayo Bowl, where they pour mayonnaise on the coach after the game? They growing?
Including me, love that mayo, bro. That stuff is on every one of the tailgates you can imagine. Go to some of them tailgates and start driving around and look and see who's putting them hamburgers and slapping that mayo on those hamburgers, man. That stuff is vicious, dog.
So you actually know the owner of Duke's Mayo. Is he the owner or the CEO? Duke's Mayo.
The grandson is, the owner's grandson is a friend of mine.
Okay.
And I tasted that stuff and was sold, bro. Because I used to remember we grew up on Hellman's.
Yeah, I don't mess with Hellman's unless Hellman's now. I shop a little bit smarter now because when I go to the grocery store and you talking about $7 for some mayonnaise, I'll be like, oh goodness, I'll take the cheapest mayonnaise that's on the shelf. I ain't gonna be worried about no name brand stuff no more.
Let me tell you about this Duke mayonnaise, man. It's good on fries, hamburgers, chicken, all of that stuff. Put it on everything. You can slap it on your ribs and you're good. Yep. You can put it on your hot dog.
So, do you think pay-per-view is going to actually get involved in these college football games at some point in time? Because Anthony Williams said that, even Netflix is on football and we see what's happening here. There could be a potential where they start getting those type of contracts, wouldn't you say?
I totally agree with him, because remember, Netflix was all about movies and they started seeing what's going down with all the rest of the stuff. Just think about it, BC. You was the biggest frustrated guy when that Thursday night game went over to that Prime situation, when you needed Prime on your Amazon account to watch the damn Thursday night football.
I'm not buying Prime. The only Prime that I will buy is Coach Prime. I'll pay to see Coach Prime, but I'm not going to Amazon.
Yeah, but we're just establishing the point that the commenter said about all of these guys are coming over, and that's what I'm saying. He's absolutely right. With Netflix probably going to get involved too, because it's a cash cow. Why do you think these other corporations is implementing this thing on Wall Street and all? Because it's a cash cow, man. This thing is a complete cash cow. There's no doubt about it, man. When you look at 100,000 people got these BBLs sitting up in these seats, man, and then they go to the next city, and man, that's a lot of dollars, BC, because you're talking about memorabilia, parking, and the ticket. And when you start including food, a family could drop anywhere
over $1,000.
On the cheap, you're gonna spend $1,000.
That's right. Especially nowadays with the prices being the way they are in the market for beer and for alcohol, and for the alcohol to chew up your budget just alone, not just talking about food.
Not even mentioning.
If you want to get your drink on, you're going to be broke. You're going to end up broke.
BC, The only way you can get flat out blasted at a football game on a budget is you get your drink on in the tailgate, dog. So when you walk in there, you standing in that thing. You know, you already got your little.
That's a good do it. That's a smart way to do it.
That's how you used to doing it. You drink a couple of drinks before you go inside the club because you got your little buzz, and you buy one drink then because you're already buzzing. And you just
Well,
the one drink just to show people you ain't slumming. So,
so here's my situation in the clubs 20 plus years ago. I got creative. I started going to the liquor store because I like rum and I like yak, and I would get them small little bottles and I slide them in my pocket. And these were places you didn't get patted down. So I would go in there, order a Coca-Cola. I order Coca-Cola, and then I go in the bathroom, go in the stall, dump my liquor in that Coke, and I was good. And I carried about 4 of those on me everywhere I went.
man, listen to me. I already got one of those bouncers. See that guy there with that bow tie? He got a drink in his pocket and get a wedgie and throw you on the front sidewalk, man.
Sure, that's what would have happened to me if that was the case, But you got to get creative, and that was during a time where I had a couple of dollars extra in my pocket, and I could have bought those $12 drinks, but I just didn't want to do it.
I'm drinking $12 now.
Oh, you're talking about at least 15 to 16 now. Just add some on to it,
But you anywhere from $2,000 on up, baby.
For sure. For sure. So we got these upcoming games. Let's move on to the next topic. We got these upcoming games this weekend, and this is round one of everything. I mean, how do you think things are going to turn out? And I can run down the list. James Madison has got to go to Oregon. Do you think they're going to get out of there alive?
Well, I don't know, man. Oregon's got a great team.
And they're these at-large schools. Them and Tulane are the two at-large schools. I've said all along, I don't have a problem with at-large schools making it in there. There should be just one slot, in my opinion. I don't think it should be two of them that make it in there. The NCAA pick a conference, and that team, the best team in the conference, should be at large.
3 teams ain't got no business being there, DC. Tulane, Marietta, and
James Madison. And guess who ain't got no business there? Yeah.
I thought I was going to get more kickback and first frustration from Texas, man. Texas, they kind of toned it down, man. They didn't gripe about it too much, and I thought they were. I thought they were going to really put up a stink because they didn't get it with those 3.
In their mouth under their breath. Steve Sarkisian, he was running his mouth. Trust me, he was. So here's another. You said Alabama has 3 losses. Oklahoma's got 3 losses. What about them? Do they belong?
Every team that has 3 losses, DC, they have no business being in no playoffs, man. I mean, this is the deal, and this can very well happen, man. It can very well happen. Teams have a tendency, and this is when they click at the right time of the year, at the end of the year, if they flat out clicking. And you imagine a team that lost 3 games and all of a sudden start clicking at the end of the year and win the national championship with 3 losses. This could very well happen, man.
It could.
Because with Alabama creeping in there and Oklahoma creeping in there back door, and they get hot at the right moments and win this thing.
It's just like the NFL with the with the NFL playoff system with the wild card, right? That team get hot and then they just run the table and they go through the whole, shebang until they get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, now the wild card is been few and far between, really far between for them to ever do something like that. But the potential chance of it happening, it can happen. Yep.
I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it.
I'm saying it happened with NFL before, a wild card.
Well, it's happened multiple times in the NFL for sure. So here's another one: Ole Miss against Tulane. Who do you pick up in that one?
I got one of my best friends went to Tulane.
Tulane's got a good team, man. Tulane's got a really good team. I wouldn't underestimate them for sure.
Girl, man, and he played for Tulane. I got some sentimental values in that Tulane thing, but just on a rational standpoint, I think Ole Miss might get them because they might have a chip on their shoulder, on both of their shoulders, because they coach left them, so they might go in there stinking up the place, man. They might go out there and do their thing. Yep.
Yeah. Oregon has just got such a devastating running game. I mean, and for the last 2 years, Dan Lanning has had running backs where they were paying $3-4 million to play for Oregon. And then they got Dante Moore as well, who was a quarterback. He was a 5-star out of Detroit, ended up at UCLA, got in the portal, and ended up at Oregon. And Oregon is going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I just don't see James Madison. To me, to be honest with you, sticking with him. I might be wrong, but we'll see. We'll definitely see.
And that thing might be that TCU Georgia type of, deal where they go in there and get mocked.
Okay, so here's Miami and Texas A&M. Who do you pull in that one?
I don't believe you.
You don't believe I asked you that question, huh? I think you want to reach through the camera and get me, right?
Shake you up and elbow you on top of your head, man. Damn team, boy.
So what is going to be needed for Miami to go in there and beat them? Because Texas A&M is not just going. They're not going to play possum. They're not going to lay down and play dead.
And that's the thing, man. But we can't. We got to play mistake-free football. And Malachi, dog, you better do your thing, boy. You better show out, man. Show out. Beck, if you want to go in the first round, you got to go in there throwing some strikes, man. Daniels going there catching these acrobatic catches like you did against these teams in the first part of the year when you did the Notre Dame. These catches that's like remarkable catches. And don't jump off sides, you guys. When you're being aggressive, watch the ball. Don't jump off sides. If you just stay disciplined, we'll get that handled. Yep.
They're going to have to be disciplined. They're going to have to go up in there and control the line of scrimmage. I've said that all year. Whoever wins in the trenches is going to be the winner.
And game tackle, man. Put that thing on them. Game tackle. This form tackling. Intimidation, too. Just go out there with your field of play. Just do your thing, man, like you know how to do. And Michael Irvin don't help him on the sideline because he going to be animated. You watch.
They better get him a towel because he be sweating like crazy out there.
He might be getting his hair done right now, DC.
Don't start. Don't you start. Don't start now on Playmaker. You know Playmaker is my guy. Yes, sir.
He about getting his hair twisted and getting rinsed out and everything, man. His hair going to look like my shirt.
Last but not least, Oklahoma versus Alabama. Who do you think coming out on top on that one? At both teams being 3 losses.
Crimson Tide. I'm pulling for Crimson.
I think the Crimson Tide is going to pull it off as well. As well with that.
Yeah.
So let's change it over and let's change it up a little bit and move over to the NFL. We want to talk about some of these injuries in the NFL. I saw the replay of the one with Patrick Mahomes where it was just one of them freak situations because Mahomes has run with the balls so many different times trying to elude and escape defenders. However, when he flipped over and I saw how his leg movement went, I just knew it was serious. It was serious. It was an ugly injury to me, and I just knew he wasn't going to get back up and play again. And it looks like they have reported that he does have a torn ACL. Now, the second star player to get injured yesterday was Green Bay, Micah Parsons. He didn't even have a contact injury. That was an injury where he dislodged with the offensive lineman, and then he took a step or two, and then his leg, buckled, I guess, and his is an ACL as well. At least that was the talk this morning from the NFL. What do you think about these ACL injuries? Do you think a lot of athletes are they're too lean or what? I mean, give me some type of thing because back in the old days when they played football in the 70s and 80s, they had massive knee injuries, but I've never known this many over the last 5 years.
It can happen, man. It really can happen. But, those guys didn't have the technology that we have now. Them guys was probably 10 ACL and NCL back then, and they didn't even know it, man. They didn't have the type of science and the stuff that they can see this thing on the spot and go inside the MRI and see that thing right on the spot. But yeah, it can happen, DC. I see it not only happening in football, it's happening in basketball and soccer and all of these sports.
Especially in basketball as well. Ankle injuries, Achilles tendon tears, ACLs, MCLs, but with the technology and, like you say, the science, they go back in and they repair those issues fairly quick. Now, it still takes rehab time to regain your, running and regain your agility, but they've got at least they have treatment for it now, as opposed to 20 years ago or 30 years ago.
They got the best and the brightest doctors out there too, DC, and you got so many doctors that's all they specialize in is going in there and repair those injuries, and they'll be back in another 8 to 2 months to a year, and you really got to go in there and power drive that rehab, because if you don't, you can come away with a limp from it. You won't walk the same. You won't be able to cut and run the same. You won't have the same type of flexibility in it anymore if you don't rehab the correct way. And you got to go in there and be a man about it, because rehab is a mofo. It is. Because you actually got to go in there and put pressure on these damaged parts of your body, whatever, even if it's a rotator cuff or whatever the case may be, when you go in and have surgery on it, because those tendons get reunited with the stitches, and you got to really stretch these things and work them and get the strength back in them. And if you don't, you're going to find yourself perhaps touching arthritis in it later on in life, and it can be where you can't even bend down or stretch or something where you is not normal anymore. So I suggest anybody who get these injuries to go in rehab and take it serious, man. It hurt. I'm telling you, that stuff hurts.
Oh, no doubt about it. It's not an easy injury to deal with, especially at the onset of it when you first get injured. It's painful. Some players say they don't feel it at first, and then all of a sudden they can't move their leg or they can't walk. But overall,
rehabilitation is the most important part of it.
That's the most important part. So I'm gonna throw this at you. Which team, takes the biggest hit? Is it Green Bay or Kansas City, would you say, for these two athletes to be injured?
Green Bay.
I say Green Bay as well, because of that pass rush that Micah Parsons was bringing.
KC is out of it anyway for this year. They might as well go fishing. But Green Bay is, losing Parsons, having him come in during that trade and to be able to get embedded in that team and start loving the city, and was highly welcome there. And oh man, I felt so bad when I seen him go down yesterday when I watched it.
I did too.
I felt terrible, man, because the guy has been humble, man, and he kept his mouth shut. He didn't want to go back and forth when his contract was out there. He just tried to negotiate, and it didn't happen for him. And for Green Bay to welcome him with open arms and gave him what he wanted, and for him to get injured, it just tore me apart to see him not being able to finish the season up over there.
Yeah, you and me both, because I remember back when Seattle had Earl Thomas, and Earl Thomas was trying to get a bigger bag, and Seattle kept giving him the runaround. That's when Pete Carroll was there, and he ended up tearing up his leg, and he gave him a middle finger on his way to the locker room on the cart, because he was so upset that, look, this is what happened to me. I was trying to get paid, and I'm still playing this game at the highest level, and now I don't get my money, and more than likely I might even get cut if it doesn't heal properly, and I can't play at the level that I used to play at. Now, as for Micah Parsons, he's gotten paid, but I'm hoping that brother could come back as quickly as possible, which is going to be next year, of course, because they're not going to be able to get him back in there this year.
He's young and he's pretty young too, so he should be able to bounce back off this thing. They got good doctors and good trainers and all that stuff too, man, and they're well. I think they're in good hands when they get injured in the NFL because they just got the best of the best of all, the surgery and the trainers and the folks that's going to rehab them. So that's why you see some of them, if they're serious about it, they'll be okay. But these guys who go in there and start BSing during the off season and don't do what they're supposed to, they find themselves in a bad position the following year when the season come around, when you let this thing just linger on and don't take care of it. Yeah,
absolutely. Looks like Christian Watson, the receiver for the Packers, got injured. His leg, he suffered a leg injury, but it's not that serious. After they done the MRI on it and looked at it, he looked like he'll be able to make the playoffs with the team and be able to play at some point. So that's a plus for Green Bay, for people who follow Green Bay, because that's going to be very important that they have everybody on deck, you know?
Yeah.
All hands on deck with these playoffs, because these playoffs ain't nothing nice, you know?
Yeah, that's when they ready to step up their game, man, and get that postseason or something else, man.
It's like starting a new season, really, wouldn't you say?
It is. Yeah, of course, because you think about that vision to go into the Super Bowl, it really kicks in. When that season is over, it kicks in because the ones who's really thinking, man, this is our goal. And then you're going to have some of these guys who don't feel the same way. They just want to play the damn season out and go on vacation. But the ones who's serious about this thing and they got this common goal with the team and the coaches and the organization who put this thing together and they spent the kind of money to put the type of right product on the field to win it all, man, these guys turn it up a notch.
They did.
And it's good to watch. It gives you better football to watch when you see everybody going all out. And I'm talking about on offense and defense. When you see these guys in that 4th and 1 and them guys penetrate that backfield and put that thing on that guy who's getting ready to ball carry.
Yes. But you know the team that, and let's get on to the next topic. We're looking at some of the scores from yesterday, and I'm looking at the Chicago Bears, man, what Ben Johnson, who was used to be the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. He has done an amazing job with the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears was basement forever. And this team right now is 10-4, 5-1 at home, electrifying offense. You know, not only electrifying, they're scoring points. Caleb Williams is flourishing under Ben Johnson's offense. And Caleb Williams, he's a stud, man. No matter how you try to shape it. Caleb Williams was a stud when he got to Oklahoma under Lincoln Riley. He followed Lincoln Riley to USC. He won the Heisman Trophy at USC. And now he's lighting it up with the Chicago Bears. Wouldn't you say that that's impressive what Ben Johnson has done with that team?
Yeah. I'm talking about thinking of Coach of the Year, DC, man.
I would say I would easily vote if I was in the voting process for Ben Johnson. Well, if Ben Johnson was on that list, I would vote for him.
Yeah, of course, man. I mean, you just think about the Chicago Bears in the last at least 10 years, man. They was like a roller coaster team. They wasn't stable. You couldn't even put a string of 5 or 6 games together in a row. If you did that, you was balling, man.
Yeah.
Now they seem to have something going on over there, and it's a positive situation where they beaten anybody who come in there, and the Browns just didn't have a prayer. They didn't even get a touchdown.
Well, Stewart didn't play that well either. I mean, from what I could pick up from looking at some of the stats and stuff, he's got a lot to learn, and I think he's got time to learn it when the offseason comes around. And I'm not throwing any shade on Shedeur. I think Shedeur is still a top quarterback. His potential to be a top all-pro quarterback is still there. He's got that mojo and everything, but, you know, the Browns' offense just suck anyway. You know, under Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski should be gone. If he wants to go. But Jimmy Haslam need to go ahead and help him out and get him out of there. Wouldn't you say that?
Yeah, man. When you're playing foot season with your quarterback, man, how can you go forward? How can you have a positive team that's serious? Because You talking about the leadership of your team.
Mhm.
You're not respecting this leadership of your team where everybody have to look up and follow the quarterback's lead and you freaking playing footsies with them.
It doesn't look good.
Just clean house because it don't show you how serious they are with winning. You put the best product on the field and coach the crap out of them. That's what you do as an owner, a leader, and a coach. You put your best product on the field. I don't care how it looks or what his last name is. Put the guy on the field and let him have at it. And the ones who's not up to standard, put them in the back seat or either get rid of them. That's how you handle it, man. I don't see how you can play politics in this political game with players.
Well, that's historically, that's the way it's always been on these teams. Look at what Don Shula was doing with the Miami Dolphins. It was always something where he had his favorite players, and the players he didn't like, he got rid of, or either he put them on the bench, right? Al Davis. It's been that way for a while.
Yeah, but they didn't do that. DC with they wasn't jeopardizing winning by doing it. Now, don't get it twisted. The Al Davises and Don Shula was kicking ass back then.
Mm-hmm.
They may not like you. They might bench you if you did something wrong they didn't like. But they're going to have somebody that can fill that spot that can do the job if they did that.
Right.
These knuckleheads now, they'll put a sorry ass in there to start and they'll lose a game and act like it didn't mean anything. That's the difference in what we were saying with Don Shula and the Al Davises back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. You know, another game stuck out to me here. Well, it's two other games. The Falcons ended up edging out the Bucs. Did you see that one yesterday? By 1 point. It was a field goal that separated the game.
Yeah.
Raheem Morris needed this game too. I mean, he has had the Falcons has had a rough year. They started out with so much promise, and then they hit a snag, and you know, Kirk Cousins is back in there starting, and he helped the Falcons pull it off yesterday. And I know Todd Bowles is not happy about that because they were at Tampa.
Yeah, but let me ask you, Raheem Morris did coach for Tampa, right?
He did. He was the head coach at Tampa at one time until they fired him. And then when they fired him, he went back to being a position coach, which I was still a little bit dumbfounded by that. But
he was a guy who wanted to keep that cash flow flowing in because sometimes they'll do that. When you are kind of when your chest is there and you know you're a man, you can take a job like that. When you know what kind of guy you are, you can take a job like that until your opportunity comes. You just want to continue to stay out there. Some guys, just like, come on, it's the same thing with Flores. Flores got a defensive coordinator job, you know, and now he's going to, if he wanted to be a head coach and these guys not biased, he's due for a head coaching job again, no matter what it is. I mean, if he was to go to collegiate for a big powerhouse school like a Michigan or Penn State or something like that, I think Flores would be a damn good coach.
He'd kick some ass in college. You know, Flores would, because Flores he has that wherewithal about him, and he has that mojo about him that he would be able to go down and relate with them kids. He'd be able to connect phonetically with those kids, I think. I think he's going to stick in the pros, and I think he'll get another opportunity for another job at some point in time, because he's one of the hottest coaches out there now, being a defensive coordinator, you know, and to mention the Minnesota Vikings, man, Kevin O'Connell, they're not having the greatest year this year, but I am superbly impressed with Kevin O'Connell, who's the head coach of the Vikings. The dude he's just got a special mojo about him that I like. And he coached under the Rams under Sean McVay. So all of Sean McVay's, you know, proteges who coached under him, they went places, and Raheem Morris is one of them. And they're coaching successfully at these other, you know, franchises. So last game that stuck out at me was the Raiders getting blown up 31-0 by the Eagles. You think Pete Carroll going to survive it? I know Antonio Pierce was probably having some bubbly and drinking whatever it was, yak, and just having such a dynamic time watching the Raiders lose.
First year. This is Pete Carroll's first year over there, right?
This is his first year. And he fired Chip Kelly, so they couldn't blame it on Chip Kelly yesterday, right?
They're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt.
I think he'll come back. I think he'll be back for another year, but he better turn it next year because Mark Davis, he don't have. Listen, Mark Davis is not. He is not connected to you in a way where you think that you're safe because he likes who you are. He don't operate like that.
Mark Davis probably don't even.
There is no loyalty. Mark Davis don't have no loyalty to no one other than himself.
No, man. Mark Davis might not even know they're losing, bro. He got that little young girl he messing around with.
Oh, he always have some nice little dime pieces up in there, sitting up in that luxury box with him.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the Rams ended up knocking off the Lions 41-34. Like I said yesterday, the Rams are going to be the team. They're going to be the team to beat, I think, coming out of the NFC. San Francisco is still in the hunt. Detroit is still in the hunt. And then you got Chicago is still in the hunt, right? Yeah, I am too. And Johnson, I'm so happy he waited because he could have had that Washington Commanders job and he would have did the same thing at Washington. But I think he waited for the right time for Chicago because they had Caleb Williams and he knew he had a dime piece with Caleb Williams. I mean, he knew he had a good quarterback that he could develop into a great quarterback, right?
Washington just fell off the map since Daniels got hurt, man.
Oh, yeah. They went down the tubes, man. So one last thing is Phillip Rivers played yesterday, and what would you grade him as? Because the Colts only came up 2 points short. I think he threw a pick late into the game against Seattle. He didn't. If you think about it, what do you think about him coming back off the couch?
Well, I didn't watch that game. I was hunting for it because I wanted to see what he was going to do.
It was a West Coast game, so you probably wouldn't have been able to see it unless you had NFL, whatever that channel is where you can watch all the games.
But I couldn't find that damn game, man. I want to see what he was going to do because they claim he had a fat cheeks like he got some.
He does.
Steak potatoes in his face.
Hey, that stomach done got a little bit big too. He been eating good, I can tell you that.
Yeah, no, but it just blows my mind how you can even fix your wrist to pick up your phone to go call a 40-year-old man.
A 44-year-old man, not a 40-year-old, a 44-year-old man.
A 44-year-old man who's got a grandkid. This dude is a granddaddy, man, and he got this man off the couch. He got this antique man, this blue tag off the couch, man.
Hey, but you know what? If I was going to grade him coming up 2 points short, he was 18 out of 27 for 120 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception, 1 of 2 sacks. So I thought he did. I mean, he didn't do extremely bad. Look, Sam Darnold doubled everything that he had.
Yeah, but you got to remember, he knows that playbook like the back of his hand. He played. They had that tandem going on between the offensive coordinating coach and all that stuff with him because they did it before. That wasn't no mistake by him getting that phone call. It's not like he just got anybody to call that's 44 who had a decent, successful season. It was someone who they had this relationship before, man. That coaching relationship. That wasn't a mistake, so that's why he was successful, man. You don't get a guy that's 44 years old who's been out of football for 5 years and they was going to induct him into the Hall of Fame because he was eligible. And now he's going to play again. He got to wait another 5 years if he walk out of here this year.
That's true.
Until the rules.
I think the head coach, Shane Steichen, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's a good coach. Indianapolis has done extremely well this year until Daniel Jones went down with that injury. Anthony Richardson is still injured, so he's not back. And to have Phillip Rivers come in, and it looks like the offense, from what I can see here, Jonathan Taylor, who's a running back out of Wisconsin, he's a running back for the Colts. He gained 87 yards out of 25 carries. That eased up a lot for Phillip Rivers. He didn't have to do a lot. He didn't have to go out of his way because he understood the playbook, like you said.
Yeah.
So he didn't have to panic and think that he was going to throw
Right.
30 times or whatever it took.
Yeah. But his whole thing, the biggest thing will be is the biggest thing that will be difficult is timing. That's it.
You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Yeah, it's timing. A majority of it is timing. So, but anyway, it looks like we had a good show, man, and we had some good participation today. We love what people are bringing to us, and we love what we're bringing to people. We want to bring this to our family because our family is important to us. We're going to be doing this thing. We're here to stay. We're going to be doing it, and we're going to even escalate it to even higher levels because we're doing what we love doing, right? I mean, we talked about it so long, and now we're finally doing it. And I have to thank Kenny Ray. I'm going to thank Kenny Ray while I'm talking right now, and I hope Kenny Ray can see this or he's watching it, because Kenny Ray is the reason we're sitting here, and I give him all the credit for that. So we'll close this show out, and I'm going to go ahead and have you close it out, Isaiah, and then we'll move forward thereafter.
Yeah, for you viewers, Kenny Ray is my first cousin. I called his name is Kenneth Williams, and he's my first cousin. His mom and my dad are brothers and sisters, and he got on us about doing this show, and just messed with DC to the point where we got it going again, because we played footsies around and did the show and then stopped, and DC wanted to just have his way at doing other stuff, and I kept twisting his arm, and we got it back going, and we partners in this thing, and it's been beautiful, man. It's growing, and we got people all over the world listening to this thing now.
Yeah.
And it's just something that we just talked about amongst ourselves as friends, man. We've been friends since we were 7, 8 years old, growing up on the same block, and here we got so many people that's involved in this thing now, even behind the scenes, that's good friends of ours. And it's nice, man, to be able to have people join and have a good time, and there's no at each other's throat, man. We got a mutual friendship and partnership, and I think more folks should have something like this implemented in their life, because, man, it's not a day go by DC and I don't talk about, family and politics and football and other sports, and just a day-to-day thing, man, where we just has this friendship that's unbreakable, is unparalleled to so many other things that we indulge in our life, where we started something and didn't finish it up and then got back going with it again. But this has been fun, man. It's been a beautiful ride. And from the looks of it, it's just progressing all over the place. And what I love about it is the family that we're building amongst different cultures and everything else, and it's nice. But I always want to finish this show off with how people need to treat each other, man. And it is sad, but right now we got so many things happening, and we need to love each other more. And I'm talking about friends, family, and relatives, and you guys got to start bonding and telling folks that you care about how much you care about, because situations happen. Well, looking at the thing this morning, the moment I woke up, Rob Reiner was on a sitcom. He was a big advocate for different things around the world, and he was found murdered in his house along with his wife. And people just don't know when their day is coming, and you may not be here to tell the folks that you care and love them. And man, I try to see my father as much as I can. I talk to him as much as I can, along with my brothers and sisters, because we really don't know when that number is going to get called. But listen, you guys, I'm going to close the show out by telling your friends, your family, and your relatives, co-workers that we're on. We're enjoying this thing. And you guys have a pleasant holiday season and a happy new year, okay?
Absolutely, and I can only coattail on what you said about Rob Reiner. He used to be called Meathead on this sitcom back in the mid to late 70s and 80s, called All in the Family, with Carol O'Connor. And, it's sad because him and his wife was found dead in their house in a very safe location. I mean, that part of town, you don't hear about stuff like this happening. And Supposedly his son has been arrested, so we don't know what the case may be with that. That's going to be probably a long, strung-out investigation to try to find out what happened to Rob and his wife. Rob was 78 years old. He stood for everything that was right, for what I saw. From the time that I watched him on TV to the time that he became a producer and a director and the whole 9 yards, he gave back. He helped people. When I always say help someone, that's the epitome of Rob Reiner. And he'll be missed. I'm just telling you, he'll be missed. And you know, our condolences go out to the Reiner family. I really, really feel bad for what happened to him and his wife. So, yeah, I can only say that, you know, once again, we're going to be here for you, fam, and we want you to join us. And we had Anthony Williams, 7316. He's one of us. He seemed like he's definitely one of us. He was, you know, giving us a lot of feedback in the comments section. So I really enjoyed interacting with him. And since this is the beginning of the week, make sure you take care of yourself this week. We got one more week before Christmas. Get all your shopping done. Isaiah did mention the other day, when you go shopping, don't let people see you park your car and go in your trunk. You put stuff in the trunk. Put the stuff in the trunk around the corner and then go park your car, if that makes sense. Because a lot of times this time of season, people who are bad people, they sit and they wait and they watch. And they break in cars, they steal cars, they do everything. So be sure, keep us in mind, and we'll keep...
Is shopping and then getting your hands full and putting stuff in the car and go back in.
Exactly.
Once you're done shopping, it's fine to put it in, but don't put your gifts in the car and then go back in the store. That's when you getting ready to commit suicide, because people gonna see you do that, break in your car and take your goods. So if you're gonna leave, put your stuff in there and leave, but don't put your stuff in there and go back in the store.
That made a lot of sense. And, you know, my context was, if you have anything valuable that's showing inside the car, that's what I was trying to say, that if you got anything like a pocketbook or a backpack or a gym bag or whatever that's sitting on the seat, you need to put that away before you get anywhere and park your car. Because if it's visible, people can see it, that could be a potential for a problem. Anyway, we take care of yourself, take care of your spirits, take care of your mental spirits, your physical, and we'll be coming back at you soon by the end of the week, and we'll be having another show soon. So take it easy. Peace, love, and prosperity. Take care.